also a work by Gustav Klimt called the Beethoven Frieze, made for an exhibition about Beethoven. So if you look left now, you can once again see St. Stephen's in the distance, and the ring road. Now we see the fine Charles Church again in the distance with the big dome, built after a terrible plague epidemic. Here on the roadside, these two little pavilions are the first subway stops of Vienna. They are the prettiest, built at around 1900 again in this Art Nouveau style. Later we go left, yeah? Not here, but later. On the left-hand side, the building with the upper floor in red and ochre is the home of the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra. The Vienna Philharmonics play the New Year's concert here every 1st of January. It's the most impressive concert hall we have here in Vienna. The Golden Hall behind the red walls is the venue for this famous concert here. Oh no, oh sorry, we stay here. Sorry. If you look out the front window, I think that is the concert house you went to yesterday. Or somewhere you went for the concert. In front of us we have Schwarzenberg Square. Schwarzenberg is the name, not Schwarzenegger. Also associated with Austria sometimes. We're going to turn left now to go to the ring road, but if you look over to the right hand side, you can see a beautiful fountain commemorating the first aqueduct for Vienna, the good water supply we have. You can drink the water from the taps. Behind we have the Russian memorial. Maybe you can look back and see that Russian soldier there. And behind it is the Schwarzenberg Palace. If you walk up that street there, you come to the Belvedere. I think some of you wish to see that beautiful museum. It is about a 10-12 minute walk from here. Yeah. Can be reached by cab also, or tram from the hotel. So, Schwarzenberg Square. We see the equestrian monument here on the left-hand side of Prince Schwarzenberg, who came from this very old aristocratic family and helped the Austrians fight off the Napoleon in a big decisive battle. Here on the left-hand side you see the tram. It's one of the modern trams that are very low. There's another one over on the left-hand side to get on. When they pull in at the platform, they are level with the entrance to the tram. So if you have a stroller or a wheelchair, this is very easy to just get in. Some of the older trams are still in circulation and you have to walk 3 steps up, so that's impossible. Here on the left is a Hotel Imperial, where state visitors are often taken up lodgings. And once again, we're coming into the area of the Ring Road, of the Opera House, with the beautiful buildings along here. Vienna State Opera House is the first building finished along the Ring Road in 1869. On the right hand side you look down towards St. Stephen's Cathedral, right behind the Opera House, the famous Sacher Hotel. And if you look on the right hand side now after the Opera House, you can look at Albertina Square, where the bus will pick up later on. The Opera House has a capacity of 2,300. And now we're going to pass the famous German poets on the right-hand side, Goethe, on the left-hand side, Schiller. Neither of these famous German poets have ever been to Vienna. On the right-hand side we have a lovely park, the former private garden for the imperial family, opened to the public in 1918 when the empire collapsed. Through the entrance here on the right-hand side you can see the monument of Mozart, our greatest composer. Who was born in Salzburg, died in Vienna at the age of only 35, having lived lived here the last 10 years of his life. It was always his ambition to come to Vienna and become the emperor's composer. Now over to the right hand side we have the, maybe we can take over, this is very slow. On the right hand side we have the Winter Palace of the Habsburg family. Over on the left hand side the two state museums. This is where we're going to get out from the bus later on. This very building on the left hand side is the Museum of Fine Arts. I think some of you want to visit here. The entrance is around the corner. It houses the art collection of the Habsburg family. And here on the left, and now you see Maria Theresa, the Big Mama. On the right hand side is the entrance to the Imperial Palace. We'll do that later on walking. And then here on the left hand side, the Museum of Natural Sciences. This is where we have dinosaur skeletons, mineralogical botanical specimens, and also the very famous Venus of Willendorf. We spoke to a gentleman, a little fertility statue that is 25,000 years old. Now, in front of us here on the left-hand side, we can see the Austrian Parliament. It was built by a Danish architect in a Greek style, like a Greek temple. In front of the building is the Greek goddess of wisdom, Athena. She's trying to make our politicians wiser with rather limited effect, I'm afraid. She's holding a winged victory in her hand. In Greek, that is Nike. And the message maybe is, in the end, wisdom will win. Well, we'll see. The Parliament building is at the moment under restoration, so our politicians are not in here. We will see on a walking tour what is the replacement for the Parliament. Right now the roof is leaking and the seating area has to be renewed. Renovation work is going to take another 2 to 3 years. As we move on the right hand side now, you can see, look a little bit into the beautiful rose garden with hundreds of rose bushes in here. And after the garden on the right hand side we have the National Theatre. On the left hand side behind the bushes you'll see the turrets and pinnacles of the neo-Gothic City Hall. At the moment the Opera House is closed for performances. They're doing the cleaning work as the most famous, the orchestra that plays there is in Salzburg now for the festival. So they show, you see the big screen there on the left hand side, they have a film festival of operas and concerts here free of charge, by the way, with stalls selling food and drink. The square in front of the City Hall is also used for the biggest Christmas market in the winter time. Now on the left hand side the next building is the University of Vienna, but also look to the right hand side. Here you can see some leftovers of the old city walls in red brick, and the white building on top was lived in by Ludwig van Beethoven. His famous piano piece for Elise, for example, was composed up there. The University of Vienna was founded back in 1365, and Austrian and EU students study here free of charge. On the left hand side you see the Twin Tower Church there that was built after a terrible assassination attempt on Emperor Francis Joseph. The emperor was not very popular in the first years of his reign, and Hungarian nationalists tried to kill the emperor. He was saved, and to celebrate his salvation this church was built. Now over to the right hand side you can see the red brick building that was made as the stock exchange. Now it's just a regular office building with a florist in the basement, but the people who were lucky with their financial speculations in the 19th century, when all these buildings were made, wanted to show off their wealth and built their family homes around their source of wealth. So those buildings you see here on the left hand side and also on the right hand side further down here were the homes of the Nouveau Riche of Vienna. One building was built for one family, so it must have cost a fortune. They wanted to sell off the properties here after the demolition of the city walls, and and wanted to fill the area up. So on the ground floor, usually they they rented out for a coffee house, for a shop, for an office or something like that. Above that, usually with a balcony, the owner of the house had a smoking room, receptions, libraries. Above that, the lady of the house had her reception rooms. Above that, the children shared with the servants. And if you had more floors, you'd rent those out to others who couldn't afford such luxury. Here on the left-hand side, in red brick set back, we have a building that was built as a military barracks, but is used now for the Ministry of Defense. On the right-hand side, you have a very typical post-war building in the late 1940s, early 1950s.